over the things?
It was just like shooting the laser over the shield, like very slightly, or like at the corner where he can power shield it, but it goes over Falco if he's moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically like you dash forward after, because then the laser goes over you sooner, and you just have to like make sure you're spacing so that he can't throw out a shield or grab you while you're moving forward, and then you're good,
Mm.
because he doesn't have anything else that hits out a shield there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I see that you've sent me the VOD. Let me take a look.
I did.
What's the timestamp?
I'll have it in 10 seconds once I get past these ads.
Okay, no
It's
worries.
literally at the very end. It's the last set.
I found it.
Nice.
Yeah, so let me see when you're playing, what the score is. Best of 5. Okay. So it's right after add an amp. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me just share my screen. And let's see here. So Luigi's gonna... So Ed beats Luigi. Cool.
Yeah.
All is right in the world. And then what happens here? So then we're gonna slow this down because I don't want to go past it. So we're here. ayeGiohh. That's Eric. Okay, cool. So we're at the start. So talk to me. So you mentioned that like this is a mentality thing somewhat.
Yeah.
So can you speak to that a little bit? Like, what can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So going into the set, I was pretty confident because I've played Eric a bunch on ranked, and I just kind of wanted to watch this VOD and like go through how I'm feeling at different stages of it.
Okay, cool.
So like I start off really confident and I get this big kill like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, all right, whatever. At this point, I'm like pretty neutral, right? It's the beginning of the set. I'm not nervous. I'm not like super confident. I'm just kind of like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna play my game, see how it goes.
Yeah, just a heads up, if you're streaming this, they can only see you right now.
Yeah, I had the Discord working with Discord streaming, and now it's not, but I
Oh,
don't really care.
if you pop it out, like if you pop the actual thing out, then you should be able to capture the window.
Wait, look at my stream in
Sure.
Discord
Sure.
and tell me if you... So I had this window capture going, and it was... Okay, now it's working. It was not working before. Okay. All right, I'm good now.
Cool.
All right.
Alright. Yeah, so let's back up a bit, like what happens here. So like let's start with this. Let's start with the match opens. So before the match starts, where's your headspace? Like what's your headspace like? I see you're taking a breath. I see that you're kind of like focusing. It looks like you're getting locked in. Yeah, so talk to me about that.
I feel like I'm playing good. I haven't entered a tournament since Frame. Seriously. And I don't exactly remember, but I think I'm just kind of like neutral to confident, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna like.
Yeah, you just look like you're looking
play.
at the screen. You're like focused. Like this all looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're just
Not really much to say pregame, I don't think.
Yeah, well, it's important to know that like you're at a neutral state, right? Like, so we're not encumbered. We're like maybe haven't been playing as many tournaments like as like during the on season, right? But like it's not, we're not feeling bad or like self-conscious about that. Like it's just yeah, we're just like at neutral.
We're
That's
locked
good.
in. We're locked in.
I can tell, like you look locked in. Like you're focused on the screen. You don't like. I haven't really seen any like big changes of expression. That was a great sweet spot. Like let's go. Like everything's just kind of like working. And like yeah, he's doing his thing. Interesting lasers. So why the lasers there and not trying to recover?
I thought I was too far to like have a reasonable chance at recovering, so I figured I'd just try to cheese him or like get some percent. But I look at this back and it's like I could have like got on the stage maybe with side B.
Yeah, you can make it onto this stage. Like, and he's with how he's coming down. I think if you go right now, then he'll be in. Like, I don't think he can hit you back off. Well, I think he can hit you, but not back off.
I think I just thought I was farther than I was. Is all.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
This is a big kill.
So, yeah. So after I dropped this. And then, honestly, I don't even know how much I want to talk about the gameplay that much.
Yeah, no. Tell me about like what's going on.
Yeah,
after you drop
so this next stock, I'm like, okay, I fumbled that pretty badly. Like that should be a free kill off that like uppie. And then I'm kind of like, pushing my advantage decently, but just like dropping a few things.
This
And then I
hesitation.
SD here, going for this I fast fall too like close to when I'm grabbing ledge, and now I'm like, fuck, like I'm selling, basically.
Yeah, so I think that, like, let's rewind a bit. Because I think that, like, where would you say that this thought pattern starts? It's, like, after, like, the failed gimp, right? The failed gimp, right?
It's like that like shook me a little bit, or it's like, oh, like I think I started thinking about like, oh, I just dropped that, and like that should have been a kill. Not like super hard, like I'm not like in shambles after this, but it's
No.
like fuck, like that should have been a kill.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I guess what I'm trying to get at here is like I think that this is like kind of like should is a word I look out for when I'm like working with mentality, because should is a
Mhm.
warning because it's like it means that we're evaluating the outcome of a game that has not finished yet, and like that it has still
Mhm.
lots of things to be played. Like we're kind of like it's like we're doing accounting sort of with like the decision making, and like that's not really where we want to be. Um, I noticed that you start hesitating more. Like compared to like where you were like at the beginning, you see what I mean? Like you're gonna get this combo at the top, and to me, it's like this is like such like a good. This is such a good forward smash that you set up, or like such like
Yeah,
a like, and you're just. I feel like there's hesitation.
yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah. So would you say that you usually hesitate when you like start when you're kind of starting to get shaken up a bit?
Yeah, I would say like hesitate and like second guess, kind of the same thing, but like or
Yeah.
like stop trusting myself as much, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so why do you stop trusting yourself? Because like it's just like yeah, you missed a down air. It's okay, it happens. But like, why is that a reason to not trust yourself? You've missed down airs before.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Okay.
like I guess it's like you don't. It's like I stopped trusting myself, so I don't want to keep going for things that I might mess up and like. It's just yeah, it's just like losing confidence.
Right. So okay. So let me ask you. Now I see two big problems with that approach, like two big ones right off the bat. So
Mhm.
one, what things are you never going to mess up? Let's start there. What things are like impossible to like get wrong in terms of execution?
Nothing.
Right. So
Yeah.
I fear that we're going to. That gets to the second problem, which is if we get rid of all the moves that are impossible to mess up, which are all of them,
Hmm.
uh, then like that are like if we're only using the moves that are impossible to mess up, which is none of them, then I find we're going to have a problem when we're fighting somebody like Eric, which is that we don't have any moves we can do. Like, do you really think that you can afford to like be not taking forward smashes and stuff versus like some like when they're available or possible against someone of his caliber?
No.
I mean, like maybe, but like, why would you want to do that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the bigger issue is just like it's just not strong.
Right. And
Yeah.
like he's gonna make me feel pressure too. So if I'm just like giving into it, I feel like I just gave into his pressure a lot
Yeah.
and gave into like him just yeah,
I mean, he picked a
the
weird.
aura of him being fast and good and whatever.
Well, I think the first stock, like the Gimp, like if we think about what happened, like actually let us think about what happened on that Gimp. So to me, like when I see this Gimp happen, like on the right side here, I just feel like he picked a really weird recovery spot and we weren't ready for it. Like that's it, and that happens to like everyone. Like there's nothing unique because like look at where you wind up putting him after you throw him and hit the forward tilt. Like to me, this is like it's weird because you can't just like. I feel like if you go down, this is checkmate for sure. But like it's
Yeah.
not it's not like
It's not super easy.
it's not free, no. Cuz
Yeah.
like he can go he can angle and play for the tech. Like on if you decide like if you back up an F smash, right? Cuz that's one way you could do this. Like he can play for the tech. But he can also go he can also go straight up. But then if you play
Yeah.
for down air, then like you know what I mean? Like this isn't like a super
It's like he's far enough away from the ledge to where I can't down air the straight up on stage.
Mhm.
Like how I tried. That's what I tried to do, but I didn't want to risk fading out too far and like falling off. So
Yeah.
I just kind of like stayed in a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe like so let me ask so if we break that down like that, was this really like a gimme? Like did you
I
just
guess
miss
not. I
like
just
did
feel like it should. I feel like it should be a gimme, even if it's not. It's just like, yeah. I think I could just turn around and grab. Like I think I could just. Like what did I do? I forward tilt. I think I should instantly just. I see him myself forward tilt him off. I should just instantly be grabbing ledge, like no matter what.
Yeah,
And then just and then it is free. I think.
I mean, I would agree with that. There's additional steps, but like the point is that, it's we got caught with a knowledge gap, and we didn't have that play ready, like lined up when this happened. That's the point. So even if it should be free, the should be free is like a clue that we need to go back and look at this after the fact. But it shouldn't be like something that we're like letting govern our play in that moment. So what I would ask you here is, we can see that there's like a quality like drop in your play after that. What is something that you could like, how good are you, do you think, at noticing when that happens?
I think I can usually tell.
Okay.
I
That
feel like I can usually tell how I'm feeling, but I'm not great at like controlling it.
You're not trying to control it.
Okay. I'm not great at dealing with it, however you want to say.
Well, there is a big difference. Like, why do you think I'm being such a stickler about like control versus manage?
Manage. Because you can't control how you're feeling, but you can have coping mechanisms or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So the feelings are going to come up whether we like them or not.
Yeah.
So like trying to control them and so the reason I get like antsy about control is that control to me usually results in players doing something like, oh, I know, I'll just do this thing so I never feel bad or I never get nervous. And I'm like, brilliant plan. If that could work, that would be a really good idea, but it does not work. We're going to need to try something else. And then they're like, well, I hate this. I don't like that idea. I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of myself. And it's like, well, that's not true either. Like, we are in control of us. It's just the feeling we can't stop the feeling from happening. We can still decide what we do in response to the feeling. Which is where the coping mechanisms come in. So.
Yeah, I was hoping to get some coping mechanisms.
No, that's fair.
No,
that's fine. Like, we can do that. So let me ask you. When you're playing, like, this was, like, to me, this is amazing. So what is going through your head right now? In terms of
that was beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is going through your head against like Eric at this moment?
I think just like I have confidence. I kind of dropped that, but I'm like, whatever. I'm still like pushing the thing. Like I'm still doing things that I feel like are good, and like, yeah, like I'm playing with confidence here, and I'm not like scared of him.
Let's try to use other words other than good and bad to describe what's happening. So, like, instead of, like, good, like, maybe let's say we're executing our plan. Like, we're executing our plan. Or, like, we're keeping him contained. Like, we're slowing him down with lasers. We're playing for our win conditions. Like, stuff like that other than, like, good or bad. Because the problem with good and bad is it gets us to judge our plays. And that's exactly the kind of thing we're trying to avoid.
Okay.
Because, like, let me ask you. Knowing that you lasered and it was a good laser, or like you lasered and it hit in controlled space, like, what does the good add to that? Like
the good add.
Like if you fire like here, you're gonna probably shoot a laser and it's probably gonna be a pretty good laser, like a pretty solid laser for controlling space. Like yeah, like so that like this again, let's find a play where you like do something really sick. So that up tilt, you made him run into that up tilt. Or like he ran into that up tilt, you controlled the space. What is the difference between an up tilt, like what does describing that up tilt as a good up tilt add to your like mental schema? Like what is the benefit of describing it as a good up tilt compared to just an up tilt?
I guess boosting your like self-esteem that you did something good. Like in the moment or in retrospect, you mean?
Both. Either.
Okay, well in the moment it's like, oh, that was a good up tilt, like I'm playing good or whatever.
Okay, but but the problem is now we're like our decisions are like our self-esteem is now contingent on us like hitting our things.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I get like it's not good. It probably shouldn't do that. Just like let things happen.
Yeah, like well,
or like
yeah, like we are an active player in our in how we feel, how we work, how we operate as competitors, and. Yeah, like if we outsource our self-esteem or our ability to be calm under pressure to our move selection, then we're going to run into problems. We need to be able to we need that elasticity so that we can actually adapt to what the opponent's doing, because otherwise we're just gonna like what this produces is usually players who are very by the book and choke artists. But are like players who are very by the book get pretty good, but then are always choke artists, and we want to avoid that. So yeah, we just let's try to describe what's actually happening as opposed to like good or bad. Because good or bad,
Okay.
like there are no good moves, there are no bad moves. There's just moves that didn't work or did work, and why.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very boring. Like you don't get to like sweat. You don't get to like talk shit about people as much. I manage, but like I'm also been doing this for much longer than you.
I need to. Yeah. I need to learn how to do it.
But yeah, like this is like so here. Like how would you describe like what's going on right now? Like what are you doing? What are you doing without using good or bad? What's happening in the
I'm just
match?
controlling space. I'm putting out moves to block him.
Which moves?
Down airs, back airs,
Laser.
lasers.
Yeah, I love it. And that was you did you did a very crisp ledge dash
Hmm.
to like get back on the stage, and then you got that's how you found your kill. See, like there's more descriptors than good and bad, and like
You're right.
let
You're
me
right.
ask you if do you feel it like how do you find your emotional state is right now when we describe it in this like in these more like flat terms in these more like descriptive but not as like judgmental
I'd say
terms.
I'm a bit jittery at this point.
No, I mean like you right now.
Oh, like me right now?
Yeah, like say like that was a he up smashed you versus that was a great up smash he got you with. Like do you have is there a difference in terms of like how you feel when his things are described as good versus just like the thing it is?
Yeah, I feel like when we're talking about it as the thing it is, it makes more sense and I feel like I understand it better. And like I'm not like it just makes it makes it make more sense and it's like I don't know really how to say, but
Well, we take the because like
it feels more real rather than like
yes.
I used to do VOD review like before I ever started getting lessons from like you and Neeks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just be like talk about things like oh like you just do this or like I would just talk about shit like stupidly or like it's good or bad only this time or whatever rather than like why did this work. I'd be
Yeah.
like oh you should back air a lot in this matchup rather than like why do you back air like why do you yeah
Yeah. So why do you back her in this matchup?
to control space to make the fox feel pressured to build percent.
Yeah, because like you need him about like it's hard to get like early aerial to shine like it's hard to get aerial to shine to work below like 15 ish.
Right.
So like yeah, like back air does 15. It's a good move. It's pretty safe on hit. Like yeah, like no, absolutely. Like that's kind of like it also keeps him off of top platform like that. So like no, all of this makes sense. What do you think is going on in your head here? Because I know you look good. Like you look like you're in control. You look like you're like there's a few panic things here and there, but again, he's
Yeah.
also applying pressure to you. So what are like where are you at mentally right now? And what is like yeah.
This game I think I'm feeling like I remember thinking to myself like I can do this if I just like don't crumble under the pressure
Mm-hmm.
and like keep playing my game. Don't panic in like obvious panic spots.
Yeah.
I remember like being like okay, like I can do this. Like I gotta just lock in and like it'll be okay.
Yeah, you look good. Like this
Yeah.
like you look like you know you're
This
someone
I
who
was
knows
feeling myself right here. I
you
fucked up that bear, but yeah.
it's okay. Like you're still clearly like in control of like you and like the game. So this is good. Like you're locked in.
Yeah, I'm locked in this game.
So what are you doing when you're locked in? Like what is your body doing, you think? Like are you like
I
what's
think
your
relaxing.
breathing? Right? And what's your breathing like? It's like steady, is it fast? Is it like
Yeah, it's like I feel like when I get unlocked in and start panicking, I like just my hands are in control rather than like my mind. And I don't mean that to because like you want your hands to just flow, but it's in a bad way where like I kind of look through the screen and I'm not even really thinking about what's happening on the screen. I'm not like reacting to the screen. I'm just like doing button combos like that my hands know how to do,
right.
but with no intention.
So like okay, awesome. So there's kind of like a presence there's like an in the
Yeah.
moment presence that you have when you're like locked in versus when you're
Yes.
not. Okay, cool. So, do you ever find yourself thinking when you're not locked in?
Thinking when I'm not locked in, of course.
Yeah. So, when not being locked in is often the result of is in my mind, it's like us getting into our own head. That's why they call it that. Like we're just like we're stuck with our thoughts. So, the thing that you want to be doing there is we want to find a way to get back to our body because that's really where all the action is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm going to teach you a bit about, like, how the brain works for just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, so I get to use my psychology degree. Let's go. Hype. And they said that I'd never use my degree at work. Okay, so basically, we have there's two parts of the brain that we're concerned with in this situation. There's the front of the brain, or the prefrontal cortex, and then there's the back of the brain, which is the hindbrain, which contains the part that we're worried about, the amygdala. You don't have to worry about the names. Basically, back of brain is like the front of the brain is the youngest part of the brain. It evolved later. It deals with something called executive function, which is a fancy way of saying decision making. Like it deals with our ability to think about the long term. So like when we're making a decision about like, do we want an apple? Do we want to like have a piece of cake? Like it's the thing that says, we kind of like, we're trying to lose weight. Let's actually have the apple. We'll have the cake another time.
That's the front.
Yep.
You said?
Yep. The amygdala in the hindbrain is like, it gets really big though when we're under stress and stuff. Like when we're activated like by stress, danger, fear, arousal, whatever, the back of the brain swells up and it kind of squishes the front brain so that it's less effective at its job, because it's like the hindbrain is then running the show at that point. That's part of why it's harder to make good decisions when we're like angry or frustrated, or even when we're really happy, like when we have a lot of joy. Like it's easy to like make like impulsive decisions then. That's why. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
So the thing we want to do in these moments, like when we're stressed and not locked in, because like usually what's happening is the hindbrain is like running amok. It's belting out a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. We need to deal with them. So we need to somehow get the front brain to like activate so it can kind of tell the other one to like chill a bit. So What we want to find a way to think. We want to do something consciously, but something that's not going to take us away from the game that much. So this is where people do things like breathing exercise, like deep breathing. Because the whole, like you take a deep breath, you feel and you pay attention, focus on like on something about like you make an observation about the breath itself. Like how does the room smell? How does the air feel when it fills your lungs? Something like that. Something quick, something that doesn't require much like focus or attention. And the idea is that by making that observation, we are making it like deliberately. We are taking away from the hindbrain, because it is like we're making a decision with the front brain. So we're like kind of like trying to rebalance it a bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Have you ever heard about like people, talking about like taking a breath and stuff like that?
Of course. I mean, I do it in this set.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see.
Yeah. So like I think I've seen you in match. I think I've seen you do it in the match. So after you take your breaths, do you find that it helps? What do you find happens after?
Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't.
When does it not help?
I feel like it doesn't help when it's either rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the game is starting and I'm like, oh shit, I have to take my breath.
Okay, so rushed is a good one. That's really important. Yeah. We'll flag that. What else?
Rushed, or like maybe like I'm not truly relaxing. I'm like even panic breathing almost. Even though I'm out of the game, it's in between games. And I'm still just like so nervous that like I feel like I can't even like breathe well.
Okay.
Or like I really can't even relax at all, yeah.
Gotcha. So you have to Monk has actually got making a good point here. However big a breath you think you're taking, you have to take a bigger one. What I'd say is really important here is the tempo. Because the thing that I'm noticing is you're describing these as being pretty fast-paced breaths. One of the things about the brain is the brain loves associations. It loves things that are like other things, because that's how it like chunks information and puts things together. So when you are hyperventilating or like breathing quickly, that's what it's like. It goes, oh, I'm afraid. I'm panicking. Like we're in danger. That's what it does. Because it goes, this breathing is like the breathing I do when I am like this. So it's really important to like to be able to practice like getting it, getting the right tempo, and it'll vary from person to person, but like you see what you see what I'm getting at, right? Because I bet the ones that you take when that successfully calm you down are a lot steadier. There's a lot more of a pace. Counting can be really good, like counting to 2 or 3 as you inhale, especially between games. That can be really effective.
Out loud?
No, in your head, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, for stream content, but like.
Do you ever feel like sometimes taking a really deep breath is almost like solidifying to myself like how nervous I am.
Why is that a problem?
Because I don't want to be nervous.
Yeah, but you are.
Right.
So like, isn't it better to like be able to face that head on and deal with it rather than pretend it's not happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Like the thing about emotions that people don't get is that a lot of times they just want to be felt. They just want to know that they just want us to know we're there.
Okay.
Like, I would say one of the best. I remember I was fighting, and granted, this was just like a free like low tier tournament like on net play, but I was fighting Umber, like a Link player, and I think we were.
Oh, I know Umber.
Yeah.
So motherfucker.
Yeah, so I beat him in winners finals 3-2, and then he beat me in grands 1-3-2. And then I was just like, oh my god. And like, it's Nestlink, it's like fine, but like, it's not a bad matchup, but it's just like, he's good, like he knows what he's doing, and I'm like, wow, this is like really tough. And I remember just like telling myself, okay, I'm very nervous. I really want to win. I'm so like invested in the outcome of this free tournament that I'm making no money on, but it's fine because I really want this for some reason. And I took a breath, played the next game, and I think that like I wound up making like a 3-1 comeback on him on Fountain. And I was just like, let's go. And the entire time, it's just you have to remind yourself like the nervousness is not the enemy, because the nervousness, like the moment you're done with the game is when the butterflies stop coming and when you don't get the butterflies in your stomach anymore, because that means you don't care, or there's something else going on that's like stopping you from really enjoying it. That's really the scary sign for me. It's not the nervousness. The nervousness just means I'm invested in it. But the thing about nervousness is that it becomes determination so easily if we just allow it some space to grow. But that means we have to acknowledge it.
I see. So a big thing is just like acknowledging and letting the feelings like kind of run through. Doing your coping mechanisms with like breathing or whatever you do. Yeah. And
they're not the enemy. I'm not saying that you have to like act on them. We still need to I'm not saying we have to like let them run away with us, but like let that like acknowledge it's there, acknowledge why it's there, take a breath, and that's when you take the breath. And like and it helps. I find it helps to remind myself, like, offer yourself some kindness. Like it's not like, it does not mean that you are like, losing this is not going to be the end of you. Winning this is also not going to be like it's another game. Like it might be a really important game, but there will be more games after this one.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw, there will be more games.
How much? So like, do you like? What are you like saying to yourself in these moments? Like, are you talking to yourself, or are you just like kind of you already understand this because you've thought about it before? So like you just like you're not really like, are you having like conversations with yourself in these sets, or?
Yeah. So like here, if I were you right now, I'd be like when I'm respawning, if I were you right now, what would I be saying? Okay. So I'd probably like take a breath and be like, he's good. This is a tough stage. And if I win, that would be awesome. So I'm definitely nervous. But this is also Fox. I have killed so many foxes here. End of the day, everyone's the same when they get hit, and I am one of the best characters at hitting Fox. I can do this. And then go. Yeah.
So just kind of do things to like, I feel like what you did was like, you basically like not necessarily lowered the stakes, but like you were like, it's okay, like you lowered the pressure on yourself. Like you kind of lowered the expectations, I feel like.
Yeah.
Which is like, I always play better when I'm like the underdog.
Yeah. It's
So
probably.
like kind of just even if I'm like tricking myself into thinking it, I feel like that could be good.
It's not tricking. Like, it's not that you're tricking yourself into being the underdog. Like, the one thing is the one thing we want to do is not lie to ourselves. Like, lying to ourselves, we're so good at telling when we're being fake with ourselves. If you are the favorite, it's okay to embrace that. But what I would
Yeah.
say here is, like, you can do that without putting so much pressure on yourself. Like, because one thing about this game, if you're the favorite, then that means you were the underdog at one point. So, and you still had, like, it's a different it is merely a different challenge.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah. Like, let's fight let's fight the situation we have, not the one we want. Swebby brings up a good point. If you're nervous, the opponent probably is too. Yeah, absolutely.
That's another good one. They're always the other person. You got to remember that they are nervous too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, this is a game. I think one of the biggest lapses in this game's education system is like is how we don't really treat the players as people. Like, it's all like, you know, we're fighting Fox or we're fighting Falco or we're fighting Sheik, but like there's a human being who's piloting that character, right? So it's more than just like the best moves on the board. It's also like the moves they can do and the moves that they feel that they're able to do in that moment. And, you know, that's not always the best move. It's not always the one that we'd label as optimal. It's why, like, a lot of times when people do quote-unquote lazy options, I'm kind of like, you know, how do we know where his hands were? Like, how do we know where his, like, where was his mental at? Like, yeah, it's easy to just look it back on it and be like, oh, he obviously should have done this play here, but, like, you know, you, as a Falco player, you of all people should know that, like, sometimes like, things are just not coordinated because of all the other shit you're doing.
Mm.
Hmm. So, like, that's another way we can have that we can actually be like, have some kindness to ourselves when we don't do the best play, because it's like, yeah, sometimes you can't. Like, sometimes, like, it's just not the right time. Like, we're not set up for it, and that's okay. Because if we try to force the right play, like the quote unquote best play, and we're not ready for it, then we're just gonna miss anyway. I think that having the awareness to know what we're like, what we have, like what we're able to hit in that moment, based on like knowing ourselves, right? Knowing what we need, like what it's like to like set that play up, what it physically feels like, and knowing if we're not there, that we don't take an opening that we don't have, you know, potentially lose for it. I think that's actually quite savvy. That's usually the mark of a good player. One of them.
Yeah.
Monk. I agree with Monk. Watching this game, you really had on the back foot. You just didn't even realize it. Yeah, no, like, God, this is a like, you're playing so well. I love this. Like, you're on. Sorry, I should practice what I'm saying. You're controlling space really. You're controlling space really well. Your DI traps are on point. You're getting a lot of like early game kills with your something into down air, which is so super good against this character. So yeah, no, like this is like the plan is good. The plan makes sense. The plan is sound. Yeah, you're attacking his weaknesses effectively. He's just kind of like gotten some gimps and stuff on you. But like this is so doable.
This game, I really like. Not like I really went into like autopilot mode. I feel like because I was so stressed.
Yeah.
Like I missed like 20 techs in a row on this stock. Like literally like my hands were like not working.
Okay. So when this happens, this is a good time to like let's practice what we're learning. So how would you're probably nervous right now holding the ledge here.
Yeah.
Versus Fox at like, you know, 18, you're down a stock. Okay, cool. The ledge is actually kind of handy because the ledge gives us some breathing room because of the intangibility and like the just natural cliff wait time. So let's practice what we've been talking about. How would you go about like trying to settle yourself in this moment? Because you might have to do this in the match, like in an active position, right? So yeah.
Do you think I should try to talk to myself at all when I like in the middle of the match?
Gio, the only person who can answer that is you.
Okay. I feel like if I'm on the ledge, like how did I get to the ledge here?
Yeah,
like I'm trying to see how much time I have
no,
to like
we'll go
think.
here.
Okay, so probably right here I should like have a little chat with myself. I should just be like,
Mm-hmm.
he just got me one stock. It's just one stock, like just play to win, like play to do what you've practiced and like
Know
don't be
what?
scared to like take risks at all and shit like that. Yeah.
Know what I find is even better than that? Don't give
Hmm.
yourself so many I find that like fewer instructions is better because we don't want to tell our like our subconscious to like we don't want to restrict it, you know? We're
Hmm.
fighting a good opponent. We might have to use the unorthodox. So I just might say, okay, he got us. He got us. Like he got us. These things happen, and but like it's also stock one. There is so much more game to be played.
Yeah.
I've beaten so many foxes. Like I have won and lost to so many foxes from this position. That stock, it's just one stock.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So like, how do you feel like upon hearing? If you told yourself that, like, I'm actually gonna pause it. If you told yourself that compared to like, if you compared to going in blind, right? What do you think? Like, what do you think the impact is? Like, can you if you
I
imagine
feel like
yourself
it
there?
just
Yeah.
recenters me and makes me like more present. Cause like whenever I'm in these high pressure like game fives or whatever, and like you lose a stock, you just like I just tend to like kind of unlock from like being looking at the screen super well, and I
Mm-hmm.
go into like time to play good mode, which like never works. Like trying
Yeah.
to play good like never works.
Yeah. You can't try to play good. Trying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I did this whole game
Mm.
until last stock. I tried to play good,
So
which
I
is why I just all the commentators were like, "Oh, why did he like go to Dreamland?" And like I feel like he was doing well with the little space, but I went to Dreamland because I was just scared, and so I just wanted breathing room.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of like played this like passive, like boring laser runaway, like just a very standard level one game, and he just like fucked me for it.
Yeah, so I think that like so I have a theory about trying. My theory is that trying does not exist and does not work.
Okay.
So why do you think I think that?
Because you've read the inner game of tennis.
Nah, nah.
No,
It's more
I'm
than
just
that.
kidding. I've read it and it kind of touches on that. Have you read it?
Yeah, of course I have.
Okay, yeah. It kind of touches on that
But what is
for
your
like
opinion?
instruction.
But what is your
But
opinion?
I just think like trying means that you're not doing what you actually like your hands and like your body like actually knows. You're like doing something that isn't natural.
Okay. Yeah. And would you say that the things that you're doing in this game are natural?
No.
Yeah. Monk is a. Ugh, I hate Monk. Trying implies exerting effort and not playing comfortable. Yes, Monk. Yes, you are right. Yeah. All right, whatever. It's fine. But yeah, no, he hit the nail on the head. Like it is exactly that. It's we don't want to be exerted like when you're playing well. How much effort are you really exerting in your hands, realistically? Like less or more than when you're trying?
Yeah, less because you're not like I'm probably like gripping harder than usual here. I'm like yeah.
Mm. Now let
I'm
me ask.
like more tense so it's like harder to do things. I'm not like yeah.
Okay, so here's a question for you. Remember how I said the brain really likes associations?
Yeah.
Which one is more congruent with how we're playing when we're nervous?
Oh, less. Like not being as tense, being relaxed.
Right. And which one is like which one is like so when we're nervous we tend to be tense up like right. So we're basically grazing that territory psychologically, right? Because we're like playing in an area where like we have a lot of associations between like us and nerves and the brain is going, "Okay, yeah, like we're definitely freaking out right now." And I'm not saying that's true for everyone. Like again, people vary, but like in general, I feel like a lot of the behaviors we tend to like associate with trying are also the same ones that tend to come up with nerves. And that's like, yeah, we don't want to be doing that. That's not ideal.
Hmm.
Like, this is why, like, when we take our breath, like, and we kind of, like, relax and allow, like, we really take a big one and let it fill our lungs. We feel how it feels our lungs. We notice it. Like, we let our shoulders relax a bit. Like, it's the reason that we do that is because when we're just like when we're locked in when we're doing something, like a lot of like we're not really trying to do it, we're just doing it.
Right.
And I think that this is like honestly, that was probably your way back into this game. Like, this is not nearly as like, yeah. You're not, all things considered, I don't actually hate how you're playing this. Like,
No, I played last stock really well, because I just said was like, all right, I'm down 1 stock to 3. I gotta just say fuck it and just ball out.
There you go.
And that's what yeah.
And then you
But
started.
I guess I need to start doing that on like, if I notice I'm like starting to scramble, I need to like, you know, go like whatever, fix my mentality, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. So what are some?
I have that talk sooner rather than like waiting till it's too late, little too late.
Yeah, because imagine if you did this on your second stock instead of like
Right.
waiting till you. Imagine you have 3 stocks of this instead of 1.
Right.
Like, this guy's cooked. Like,
I was cooking. I was cooking.
Yeah, this guy's so screwed if you do that. Unless he also does that. Like, but then you're just like 2 spaces locked in, so it's super good melee. Like, yeah. But like for realsies, like you're playing so well right now. And because like everything's crisp, you're so aware of his position, you're covering options, you're sharking him, like you're covering retreats, like it's just you have only 1 stock to work with, and that's too few versus someone like him.
Yeah.
So like what are some of the signs you think? If we go back like and look at you, what are some of the signs you can see when the nerves start kicking in? You see the expression, right? Like I'm looking for things like that. You'll see it in a moment.
Well, for me, it's like, I know I'm super nervous when I'm like, when I'm staying kind of static. Like, if you go back like 10, 20 seconds, I like, the way I'm like, it's when I'm in the corner on the right side. I like jump to the plat, shield drop, like jump back there. Like, I'm just scared to like engage meaningfully, so I'm just like, kind of like camping, like staying away, like I'm avoiding like conflict basically. That's how I know I'm like super nervous, is when I'm scared to be like near the other person.
Yeah. Now to be fair, like this is Fox, and like but like at the same time we respond with invincibility, so like we shouldn't be this frightened of him. If you notice this while the fight is actually going on, because I do think there is value, and like you could just do it between every stock and you'd still probably improve like a great deal. But the ability to do it in the fight, I think, that's useful. Like, either after you kill them, like before they're coming back, or in actual combat if they're like keeping their distance a little bit. So, like right
here, I like do the dare, and I'm like, yeah, like see, I'm just like so scared to like engage with anything, but I'm not like moving. Like I could have just full hopped to top plat or something, to like gain something. Yeah.
If you go here, and you notice that he's, like, keeping his distance, and you're kind of scared to engage, could this be a good time to, like, mentally reset?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, like, what do you tell yourself here? Like, when you get on the ledge and go to this platform, and then you're, like, kind of do this, like, what do you tell yourself at this moment? And what grounding technique do you use? Like, some people use like, I find breathing is the best one, but, like, for me personally, but, like, some people, you know, due to whatever reason, they can't use it, or there's another association that makes it not work, sometimes they'll, like, you know, wiggle their toes or, like, squeeze their controller or something like that. There's other stuff, like, you can do. But
yeah, I want to say don't be scared, but, like, is that, like, too much of a, like, instruction, or, like...
You are scared.
A controlling feeling? Right, yeah, so I don't want to say that. But that's what I usually would do. They just like, don't be a bitch.
So let's do the opposite. Let's say, okay, I know I'm scared. And that, like, I know I'm scared, and that's okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's like the same thing, but better. Flipping it on its head.
Yeah, exactly, because we're giving ourselves permission to be how we are. It's like,
I'm scared of being scared. So it's like, well, it's okay to be scared.
Exactly.
And then now that I know it's okay, it's like, yeah, all right. Now I can play.
Yeah, he's scared. It's like I know I'm scared. He is scary. There's a lot riding on this, and I care about it. But that's not a reason for us to play. Playing passively is not the solution to that, because ultimately we have to play close to this character to kill him. So yeah, let's lock in and figure this out. Something like that.
Yeah. I think that'll like open up my problems with like my hands tensing up and stuff too.
Oh, absolutely.
Relieving the pressure off my brain will like help my body.
Absolutely. So what about here? So when you're respawning, what do you tell yourself? He just taunted. He's like, instead of going back in right away, what do we do?
I mean, we gotta have a little chat. We gotta just be like, I got gimped. It's okay. It's Fox. It's gonna happen. I'm Falco. Like, I can do the same to him. Like, don't worry about it.
Exactly. One thing I'm really happy that you pointed out, you did not dwell on the mistake, because I know that you could have gotten that gimp had you hit the fast fall, but, like, you didn't, and I'm like that you're not pointing that out. I like that we are moving past that play and focusing on the present. I think that is really good. I think that is very effective for our goals, because the whole idea here is when we're in our head, we tend to be in the past or the future. We're either worried about what's going to happen after, or we're worried about what happened before. By not engaging that, we stay present, and that is the goal. We're trying to stay in our body in the moment so that we can be the best player that we can be for the task at hand.
Yeah, I like that.
There's kind of a lot of times people like find mentality hard to like work with because it's like a little bit more, it's not quite as concrete as like say game mechanics, but like at the same time, I think as you're going through this, have you noticed any like recurrent trends or any patterns in kind of how we do this?
Yeah. Like the solution you're like, yeah, like the solution or like the way to calm yourself down is like, yeah, just acknowledge what happened, move on, kind of just reassure yourself that like, you know, your feelings are valid and that you can keep playing.
Yeah.
And it's never over, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not over till it says game. And there's kind of like, with that in mind, it's almost like there's sort of a logic to how we calm ourselves down and cope with these things, right? There is like,
yeah,
because it makes sense. It's really just kindness in a lot of ways. Like we have to like exercise a little kindness to ourselves, and yeah, like just trust and have some trust that we will, do what we can. We have to believe that self too, to use inner game logic. We have to believe that they're going to do the best job they can. If we don't trust that, then none of this works. But if we do trust that, then they will. And it might not be enough to win, but it will be enough. They will try. They will do everything they possibly can to make it happen. If we do that, then that's not so bad. That's what we're all here for, right? To see what we're capable of.
Yeah, and I hate that like it's just so annoying when like your mentality restricts like what you're capable of.
The mirror is always the toughest opponent, but it also feels really good when you overcome it, and when you start to make friends with it a little bit, and you can actually like, pump up like self too when we're when we need it. That can be really really good. That's when the game is super. That's when the game is funnest for me.
Yeah.
The mirror's not the enemy.
I fumbled the sedge guard. Oh, god damn it!
I'm telling you, if you had 2 more stocks like that one, God.
It was Jover.
Yeah. So like, let's. I mean, we're gonna hit pause on this because like we're done with the set. But like, talk to me. What are some things you learned about how you're gonna tell me what you learned today and how you're going to like take this forward into your as you develop as a player.
I learned that I don't need to put past judgment on things that happen, good or bad. I learned that I gotta find time in the sets in between, or in game and in between games, whether it's like Angel Platform or like a slight lull in the action to like say 1 or 2 things to myself to like calm myself down, whether it be like whatever that Marth just down tilted me, it's okay, I'll just keep pushing or whatever.
You don't even have to say it's okay. You can just be like, that marked down tilted, it
I
happens.
marked down tilted me.
It happens.
I'm gonna just, yeah, it happened, whatever.
Exactly. Because, like, when we say it's okay, we don't want to, like, again, like, the whole
Yeah,
thing...
that's passing some slight judgment, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing is, like, it doesn't matter if it's okay or not, it happened.
Right.
There's nothing we can do about it at this
Right.
point because it happened. So, yeah, we're just moving on from it. I would say one big tip I'd give for you is, like, if you notice that you are still, like, if you're not ready to go into the next round, if you need a minute, take it. Like, drink some water, stand up, take your coat off, like, whatever you need to do. But, like, if you are still feeling panicked after you take your first breath, don't start the next game. It is okay to take a minute or two to, like, chill. Like, unless you do it literally every time, nobody is going to call you Wizrobe or something like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to actually put that one as a separate one, because, like, need to find time in the games to mentally reset and use, the Angel platform, to mentally reset. But I'm going to, as a separate one, I'm going to say take, need to, develop assertiveness with not starting the game when not ready yet. Yeah, because, like, that's a really important one. A lot of players just rush into the next round, and then they're like, God, why did I lose to Hungrybox Game 5? Like, I was playing so well. And then it's like, if only there was something we could,
I definitely ego through some stuff, like for my, so after I got killed the first stock of that game 5, I just was like, tried to be like, yeah, I'm okay, and just go. Like, I didn't say anything to myself. I kind of tried to just, like, power through rather than, like, acknowledging the, like, gravity of what was happening. Of, like, how I'm feeling and what and all that. I was kind of just thinking, like, I'm nervous as fuck, like, let me try to, like, slow down the pace or whatever. But it didn't really work. Because then I just tried to, like, I tried to play good, like I said.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah.
And it's good that you had that awareness of, like, what you were trying to do, that you can take away from that set when you're looking back on it, because, like, that's really valuable, because we now concretely know that when you're on tilt, when you're nervous, whatever you want to call it, you lean towards passivity, you lean towards defense, so that can be a warning sign that, like, this is happening. So, like, a lot of fighting well is just knowing yourself and knowing what happens when you're dealing with stress and being able to manage it, right? So if that's something that comes up a lot, that's really good that you know that.
It does come up a lot.
Yeah, because you can spot that. You know what that looks like. You know you. So then if it happens and they're, like, fucking around on the other side of the stage, you can just be like, okay.
What about because we got like 5 more minutes or whatever. What about, like, when I'm winning? Not when I'm nervous, or, like, let's say what about when I get nervous because I'm winning, or, like,
same thing.
Just try to be like, yeah, I'm winning, or like what would I say if I'm winning?
So so let me ask you. Let's say you're up like 3. Let's say, like, the stock count is flipped. You're up 3-1 on him, and he's the one making the comeback on you, right?
Yeah.
Where do your thoughts go?
Don't choke. Like, I'm like, don't choke, let me just play solid, like, don't give him anything for free, and, like,
yeah, and you probably start
but it kind of
lasers.
it leads to passivity. It's
So what I would say here is, like, so let's Monk has a good suggestion, like, I'm winning, cool, but, like, what I would say, like, because that is the energy we're looking for. Like, we don't want to, like, dismiss our game state, but at the same time we don't want to get too attached to it, because it is, the game's volatile. We're two spacies fighting, like, things can change. So maybe acknowledge, let's start with acknowledging, I'm feeling good, or, like, yeah, I'm feeling nervous because, like, I'm ahead by a lot. And I'm worried about what'll happen if I lose this. But I am ahead by a lot. So that should be something that, I shouldn't be, I don't need to, like, the fact that I am ahead by a lot is means I have a good position. Like, I have a strong
we could make
position.
a formula. I feel like there's a formula.
Yeah.
for like this. It could be just like
Acknowledge
what
feeling.
just happened, or like yeah, acknowledge what happened or what is happening,
So what just happened? You
and
said
then
what just happened. So like I think that
so
makes
like
sense. So then
yeah,
what we're feeling about it.
how we feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like usually nervous or whatever. Yeah, and then the next thing is like the next thing is trickier.
It's always yeah. People
I don't
get
know.
how we feel about it. Maybe offer kindness / reassurance.
So reassure ourselves.
Yeah. Or / put it in,
But I
or
don't
put it.
really want to say. How do I reassure without being like that was good or bad?
Well, it's just like okay, so we're ahead by a lot, right? But they're making a comeback, and we're nervous about it. So what just
Yeah.
happened? So we just got gimped at 18. I'm feeling a little nervous because of it, but I've been gimped before and still won those games.
Mm-hmm.
So let's lock in. And so let's take a breath and lock in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monk said, "Oh, I'm ahead. I am free to play comfortably." I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ahead. I'm free to play comfortably. I love that. Yeah, no, that
I
is
do like that.
yeah. But I think so. I think like tinker with the formula, but I think something like this makes a ton of sense.
Okay. Because I don't want to have to think about what to say to myself. I want to kind of have a formula or whatever, like that way I can be more efficient with it. Because I feel like, especially in game, you don't have much time.
There's a
You know.
there's a TikTok that I can send you. I think that has that I've used in other lessons when I've gone over this concept with people. It has sort of a formula. I've done a trimmed down version for me, but like yeah, like I'll make sure that you have that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And with our
It's
last,
about a formula of like
it's how to
this
feel.
kind of thing, or
It's literally titled "How to Feel Your Feelings," and it's by a psychologist.
oh,
So
cool.
yeah, no, definitely. With that, so I think we're at 2 minutes. Let me ask you, how did you find this session? I know this is a little bit of a deviation from what we normally do, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? Any feedback for me?
I think this is will benefit me more than any like VOD review gameplay we could have possibly done
I agree.
right now. Because this is where I'm struggling right now. Like, honestly, I've been playing lately, and like I feel so good, and I understand what's happening right now. Basically, whenever I play anyone,
Mm-hmm.
so it's more like how do I bring that out of myself when I'm playing in tournament?
Yeah, no, I've seen you in some of your games, and you look way stronger than before, and it's really sick to see.
Yeah.
This at this point, yeah, I would agree. Like being able to access those skills consistently, like it takes dedication, it takes practice. But honestly, one of the most useful thing is just be nicer to Geo. Like real talk, just be nicer to Geo, and you'll be amazed at what Geo comes up with.
Yeah, I'm very strict on myself when I play.
I
But in
know,
friendly, it doesn't matter as much because there's not as much feelings.
right?
You're like
And
chilling. But then in tournament, it's like, yeah.
yeah, it's such a funny thing how like we're so relaxed when we play friendlies, and as a result, we go for things that we wouldn't dare dream of in tournament, even though those are often the right plays.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like there isn't like a strength of the tournament format like for like refining gameplay decisions. There is absolutely, because like it's a smaller set count, etc., etc., etc. But like at the same time, in those like do or die moments, I feel like the friendlies players like I'll put it this way, I think there is a very good reason that it's usually the feels-based players that reach the top 10, not the nerds. Armada is actually a huge outlier for that reason. But if you take a look at his contemporaries and like the top players now, and even the top players preceding him, most of them feels-based. And they might have like some technical background, but like, again, generally speaking, it's the people who know how to vibe. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm kind of a mix, but yeah. All right, that was really good.
Amazing. So I'll put this one up on my channel soon. But yeah, I have the VOD saved in case you want it. And aside from that, take care and let's play soon, okay?
Are we gonna play right now?
I think
Didn't you want to play?
I did
tonight,
want I did want to play tonight. Right now I don't want to eat dinner.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna get on and play, but so if you want to play later, I'm down.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely hit you up.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, later.
All right.